What's the deal, YouTube? It's your boy Lil Man. So look, we're gonna get right into the video. So I'm gonna go over this Euro JPY trade that I took and this JPY or GBP JPY trade that I was hesitant to take, but I'm gonna show you guys the setup because it's the same as this. So let's get started. So we're on a daily and we're just gonna zoom it out a little bit so we can get a clearer picture. So we're just gonna start here. And I'm gonna go over market structure real quick. And if you don't know what that is, just go back to one of my videos that I was talking about it. But let's go over it. So here we have a low. Actually, let me mark it out like this first, and I'll mark it out. So here we have a low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and higher high. So that's market structure. Now I'm gonna mark it out here so we can identify it. So I'm just gonna do the same thing. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So looking at price right now, this is bullish, right? We wouldn't be taking any shorts or sells in this market, right? Because we're bullish and we would want to go with the trend. So we would only want to take in buys. So now let's see where the market starts to change and we can look to start taking sales from. And this is where I was looking at. So whenever we're in a bullish market structure, we have to wait for a break of structure in order to change our bias, right? So let's find our break of structure, right? So we're not breaking any of the higher lows right here, right? We didn't come down and break this higher low. We didn't come down and break this higher low. We didn't come down right here and break this higher low. But here, so our last previous higher low, where was it? As you can tell, so the lows are all on the bottom, right? So low, 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 high, 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 high. So where was the last higher low? Right here, right? So let me just take these off so you can zoom up a little bit. So we're just gonna start from this low, right? So remember, this is a higher high, higher low. So we're just gonna start here. So low, let me just add this in. High, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So the last higher low is right here, right? So it's right here. So this is a high, right? And we didn't break it, we fell. Or this is when we created it, right? So we fell, and we didn't break it here, right? It created resistance and fell. And then we finally broke it. So once we finally broke it, that created our new higher high. And then we had our new higher high right here, right? And then we came down to make this higher low because we didn't break this previous higher low, right? So we came down to make this higher low, and then we broke the higher high to make this new higher high right here, right? So the previous higher low is right here, right? So we have our high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then higher high. So this is our previous higher low. So in order for us to start switching our bias, we would have to break this, because if we don't break this, we're still in the uptrend, right? We're still going bullish. We're still making higher highs, right? So until we break this and close up under here, we're still looking for buys. So let's wait till we close and break under it. So as you can tell, it closed and broke under, right? I was just trying to show you guys where you have to break market structure. So now that it closed and broke under it, now we have new structure, right? So this was the last higher low, and we broke it, right? Right here, closed under it. So now we have new structure. So now we have a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, right here, right? So we have a high, a low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then now we have our lower low. So at this point, this is when I was looking to get into a trade, right? Or not looking to get into the trade, looking to get into a trade, right? So we broke our market structure, so we're sell buys now, right? So we're no more looking for buys because we broke market structure. So now we're going down, right? So we're looking for sales. So now this is when I was looking for my trade. Once price made this lower low and it was coming to test somewhere around here, that I was going to make a trade to take it shorter, right? So now talk to you guys about market structure. So now I'm just going to go ahead and go to my technical chart that I had marked up. And now we're actually going to go over the trade. So let me take this off. Let me take this off. Alright, so now we're looking at right here, right? So like I said, we had our high, our low, our lower high, our lower low, our lower high, our lower low, our lower high, and our lower low. So this is, let me take this stuff off. Just so the chart don't look all like that. You can identify it good. Alright, so now that we have a clear chart, let's go ahead and look at this trade, right? So, like I said, we were in this bullish market structure until we broke under this higher low, right? So, now we're looking at sales, right? So, like I said, I was looking for sales, and like you guys know already, we have our market structure in, right? Let me just delete this. So now that you guys know we have a market structure. So like I said, high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So let's go ahead and mark this. Because we're in a downtrend, right? And until we break this, we're still in a downtrend because we made our lower low. So until we break this, and price breaks out of it, and then starts making new structure, we're still sell bias, right? So let's go ahead and add in my trend line. So I had a trend line touching here. In here, right? So we got 1 point touching 1 point, right? So that's my trend line I had in, and it was just showing you that we were hitting 2 points, right? So we're in a downtrend. This is our last lower high. This is our lower low. So we're working with this range right here. Price can play around anywhere in between this range, right? Anywhere in between this range until we break to make a new lower low, or until we break this to break the bearish market structure and then look for new structure to form, or just look for whatever else to form after that, right? So until we break out of that, that's just our little structure area we're in, right? Just to let you guys, just to help you guys understand the market a little bit better. So now let's get into the actual trade. So technical wise, these are my key levels on the daily, and this is my trend line I had set up. So I basically just connected these 2 points. So this point right here to this point. Actually, I should take this back, right? So I connected this point to this point. So let's connect them. Touch to touch. So like I said, this is our last lower high. And in order for us to not be sell bias anymore, we have to break and close above here. So let's look what price happens. So we have our 1 touch, 2 touch, and this will be our 3rd touch, right? So some people got in right here off the 3rd touch, and they made pretty good money, right? Because they got in, they probably had their stop loss somewhere up here or whatever, and then they had their take profit down here, right? So they had a nice trade, right? And then price broke above this trend line right here, right? So now all the sellers are thinking that price is just starting to push up and it's no longer pushing down. So they're all getting out of their positions probably somewhere around here because it broke up above this trend line. And once it breaks the trend line, everybody thinks it's just going to keep going up or whatever, right? But let's see what happens with price. Because we know that price can go anywhere between this level and this level, right? It don't matter about the trend line. We know that. The trend line is just there to just help us see the market better and just see how it's flowing. So we have our 1 touch, we have our 2 touch, and now we're waiting for our 3rd touch. So let me just take this back a little bit more. So we have our 1 touch, 2 touch, price drops, comes back, makes the 3rd touch, and then drops. So once it makes the 3rd touch, we move our trend line, right? So now we have 1 touch, oops. So now once it hit the trend line and dropped, we're going to move the trend line, right? Because we're not going to keep the trend line. We're not going to keep the trend line like this, right? Because we want to move it to grab this wick too, because now it's just not a valid trend line. So let's go ahead and connect this line too. So now we're going to move this touch to here. So we have our one touch still, and now we have our two touch right here. So now let's wait for the third touch. Alright, as you can see, we broke out right here, right? So sellers probably got in right here thinking that the market is going to push down again like it did right here off the third touch of the trend line, right? But it didn't. And instead, it pushed out of that with a big engulfing candle, big bullish engulfing candle. So now we're thinking that price is going to go up, or whatever we're thinking. We're just waiting on price to come where? Here, right? The last lower high. Because in order for price to break this, it's going to change the bias. We're going to look for bullish structure once it breaks that. But until it does that, we're still looking for sell. So let's go ahead and look where we want to take a trade. So we want to take a trade right here, right? Once we get rejection, because obviously we're not going to just get in a trade once it hits this, because we want to see rejection at the level first. So we're going to want to see it reject right here, and then so this is just what I had my take profit at. I had it at this daily level. So it's just this resistance, support, support, support. So just this key level right here, that's where I have my final take profit at, right? So this is my setup look like. So I have my take profit there. My stop loss was, so my stop loss was 130.880. So let's go ahead and add that in. 130.880. So my stop loss was around 130.880. I got in around 130, 213, 130, 213. My take profit was here. So this is like a 2 to 55 trade, right? Or 2.55. So I was risking 1% to make 2.55. So a little under 3. So this is what the trade looked like. And like I said, this is basically a break of the third trend line touch, retest of the previous higher low. And let's go down to the 6 hour. Or let me explain it one more time before I get into it, before I show the trade. So we were in this bullish uptrend, and then we broke market structure, and then we started forming bearish structure, right? So we have our high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So this is our previous high. Price has to break this in order to invalidate the bearish downtrend. So this is where we're going to get our maximum risk to reward trade at, right? So this is just where I'm taking a trade. So let's go over it. So at first I was looking to get around here, looking to get in around here, because I was thinking that price is just going to get up here and reject, not come up here and hit the top of this wick and then fall. So this is where I was looking to get in originally, but I didn't. So let's just see what happened. So this is when it originally got to this place where I was looking to get in, and then this is just the previous higher low. This is just the top of it, so I can know on a daily whenever to check for wick closures and stuff. So let's see what happened. We'll start talking. So price come up here, hit the level, and then once it formed this little formation right here, because I wasn't originally looking at this, like I said, that's the top of it. I was looking here to get in around this level. So once it hit that, and then on the 4 hour, it was playing around, rejecting, 2 hour rejecting, playing around, 1 hour rejecting, playing around. This is just looking good to me, and I was waiting for it to come under here, break, test this, and then break and fall, because this would give a head and shoulders pattern, like left shoulder, head, and then this would be the right pattern, as well as it coming into this level and then breaking and then coming to test, right? So this is just a good rejection, and this is just the level I thought I was going to reject and fall at. So this is where I got in, right, exactly right here. So this is what it looked like when I got in. So let's see what happens. And I'm going to explain how I managed it. So price started coming up here, and once it broke above this, that's when I put in well, I already had this in, but this is when I just moved this, and I was looking at this level and looked to see what I was going to do. So once it broke above here, I was just basically waiting to see if it hit my stop loss or to see if it was going to go back down. So once it did this, I was like, okay, that was just the final last liquidity move to get all the stop losses, and now we're going to head down. And now I was waiting for this to play out like I said before. So this is all I'm waiting for to play out now. Usually, I mean, before it was this left shoulder, head, and then right here, right shoulder, but now it's this left shoulder, head, come down, right, and then come all the way down, right. So price played around again, and when it was come up here, I was still cautious because I was like, why is it not breaking this level? It's not breaking. It keeps trying to push up, but then it finally broke under that. So right when it broke under here, I was like, all right, yeah, we straight now. So everything's looking good. So once it did that, I was waiting for it to hit this level. Then I was going to take partial profits and then move my stop loss closer, right? So once it hit that level, and look, it did exactly what I said it was going to do. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. And I was showing that on my Instagram too, and I was waiting for that to happen. So it made that, and it finally dropped. And once it dropped and did that, I moved my stop loss. Actually, I lied. Once it broke this, I moved my stop loss just right here, just to reduce risk barely. But once it broke under here, I moved it under here. And then once it broke this level, like right around here, because once it broke this level, I was waiting for it to do the same thing it did here. I was waiting for it to come down, hit this, and then come down and hit this to hit my final take profit, but it didn't do that. So anyways, it finally broke that, so then I went full break even. So now I'm just break even the trade, no risk, partials taken. So I think I took like 0.5% partials, and I was letting the rest run. So price came here, and once it came here and pushed all the way back up, I had a fib drawn from here to here, and I added this little trend line in from here to here just to see if it would break past these levels, and if it did, I was going to look to get out of the trade because then I wouldn't see the trade working out in my favor anymore and hit my take profit. And also once it made this and they started pushing up, instead of having my take profit down here, I moved it up barely just right here, right? Just to make sure that the price wouldn't come down here again and then just push up. Instead of trying to grab these little last pips right here to make a final take profit, I'll just get out right here fully, right? So that's how I managed it. I'm break even right now. Price came up, tapped at 61.8, and right when it tapped that, it fell right back down. So hit my final take profit, and this is about a 160 pip trade. So that's what EJ looked like. And like I said, it was just a break of, so it was trend line touch, the break of the trend line. So buyers got in right here thinking that price is gonna keep going up or whatever, right? And then they didn't look out for this previous higher low, so it came, hit that, double topped out, and then just fell. So that was that trade, and I hope you learned something. So I'm gonna go over GJ just real quick, just to show you guys this trade that I missed out on, and she would have been beautiful. But anyways, price is going up, so price is making bullish structure, right? As I said, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. And then this is the previous higher low, right? So we had a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So this is our previous higher low. We got to break this in order for bearish market structure to start forming and for us to get out of this bias, this bullish bias. So this is a higher low, and we got to break this, right? So basically, this is a one touch, two touch, in a bullish market. This is our previous higher low, and we didn't break it right here, right? We wicked, came back up. Hit here, we didn't hit the level, but we didn't break it either. So we came and just come up. So right here, one touch, two touch, right? Third touch. We never got third touch, right? We hit, and then we just fell, broke right through the level. So right here, sellers are thinking that once we broke out of this trend line, oh my God, we're about to start crashing and going down, right? Or whatever they're thinking. But they didn't look out for this previous lower high that we have to look out for. or a higher low, my fault. But they didn't look out for the previous higher low. And like I said, you have to watch that, because if we don't break it, then we could just come right back up. So this is what the trade looked like, and I was looking to enter it somewhere just around this level, right? It was going to be like a 1 to 3, 1 to 4 trade. And this is my take profit, because that was just the level that I was thinking I could come at, even though I could come up here, but I didn't want to take profit. Or I didn't want a 700, 600 pip trade, right? We're just going to take this, see what we can get. But this is what the trade looked like. And once it hit here, and it started rejecting on the 6th hour, I wanted to get in. But like I said, I was hesitant and didn't, because I wanted to wait for more rejection, because I thought that this is a good rejection, but I just wanted to wait for a little bit more. But we never got it. So this is where GJ's at right now. And I would be up around 250 pips or so. So that's a trade I could have took, but I didn't. So I was just showing you guys that to show you guys the EJ trade looks just like this. So hope you guys learned something from that, and stay tuned for the next video. I'm out.